Yeah, I can always talk to an arborist, yeah, see what they say. Okay, thank you.
He wasn't worried.
Yeah, right.
Come to order, please. Today's meeting of the Municipal Code Enforcement Board is called to order on Wednesday, September 24th, 2025. Welcome, everyone. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. Agendas of today's meeting are on the wall at the entrance to the chambers. Please remember to silence your cell phones. The Municipal Code Enforcement Board consists of 7 members who are appointed by the City Council. We serve voluntarily. It is this board's intention to promote, protect, and improve the health, safety, and welfare of the citizens of Clearwater by providing this equitable, effective, and inexpensive method of enforcing certain codes within the city. This board considers new business items in 2 parts. First, the violation, and then affirmative relief. Formal rules of evidence do not apply. Each side is limited to 15 minutes. The board may grant additional time. All proceedings will be conducted in a calm, civil manner. Individuals who conduct themselves otherwise will be asked to leave. If necessary, they will be escorted from the chambers. Now I ask all who plan to speak, please rise and be sworn in by our clerk.
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, right, your entire testimony? Thank you.
Our first order of business is to review and approve the minutes of last month's meeting. May I have a motion to approve the minutes?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Minutes are approved. Is there anyone here today to speak on items that are not on our agenda? Please come forward. State your name and address to our clerk for the record, please.
I'm Mr. Haluba. My address is well known. The clerk has my address. Now, Mr. Brown, Florida statute, chapter 16206 states, a person who reports potential violation of a code or an ordinance must provide his or her name and address to the respective local government before any enforcement proceeding may occur. That's home address. Now, I believe this statute is in place to prevent weaponization of code enforcement. Now, for a very long time, code enforcement in the city of Clearwater was generated by citizen complaint only. But apparently with the arrival of Alfred Battle, code enforcement officers, like Mr. Cosman and the others, are being wrongfully allowed and actually pushed to initiate violations where perhaps there would have been no problem at another time. Again, this is wrongful, and I believe it needs to stop. If there is no citizen complaint, there should be no issue. Now, any Clearwater code officer that, initiates actions on their own are blatant examples of improper government overreach. Now, Chapter 162 also requires members of the Enforcement Board, which is all of you, be residents of the municipality. That would be Clearwater. I believe that's a reasonable requirement. However, the members of its board are required to be Clearwater residents according to the chapter. This is a Florida open records request for you and each and every one of you to disclose your name and home address.
Thank you, sir. All right, is there anyone else here to speak on things that are not on our agenda today? Okay, next on the agenda are new business items. Our first case is 4.1 on our agenda, case number 89-25, find respondent CWD Downtown Properties LLC at 531 Cleveland Street in violation of code for door and window openings, and issue an order with the compliance deadline and fine if compliance is not met. Is there anyone here to speak on that? No?
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
I'm involved in this project, so I will be recusing myself on this one.
Okay, you are recused from this case then, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. Kasman, you have the floor.
In this case, for 531 Cleveland Street, they came into compliance before the board hearing, so on this one, I'm requesting a declaration of violation.
Okay, can I get a declaration?
I move to find the respondent was in violation of the code as referred to in the affidavit in this case. The violation was corrected prior to today's hearing, and to enter order that no fine be imposed. If the respondent repeats the violation, the board may order a fine up to $500 for each day the violation continues to exist.
You have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. All right, on to 4.2 of our agenda, case number 90-25, five respondents, La Vista Group LLC at 416 Laura Street in violation of code for fences and walls and exterior surfaces, and issue an order with the compliance deadline and fine if compliance is not met. Is there anyone here to speak on that case? No?
And Mr. Chairman?
Yes,
I
ma'am.
must recuse myself from this.
Okay, you are recused then. All right, Mr. Kasman, you have the floor.
And similarly, in this case, for 416 Laura Street, they came into compliance before the hearing date, so this is also a declaration of violation,
All
please.
right, can I get a declaration?
I move to find the respondent was in violation of the code as referred to in the affidavit in this case. The violation was corrected prior to today's hearing, and to enter an order that no fine be imposed. If the respondent repeats the violation, the board may order a fine up to $500 for each day the violation continues to exist.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Next on our agenda is 4.3, case 91-25, find respondents Greg 16 LLC at 721 Mandalay Avenue in violation for code for fences and walls, and issue an order with a compliance deadline and fine if compliance is not met. Is there anyone here to speak on this case? No? Inspector Hasman, you have the floor.
3 times the charm. In this one, the owner came into compliance before today's hearing, so I'm just asking for a declaration of violation, please.
All right.
Well,
Can I get a
Nice.
declaration, please?
I move to find the respondent was in violation of the code as referred to in the affidavit in this case. The violation was corrected prior to today's hearing, and enter order that no fine be imposed. If the respondent repeats the violation, the board may order a fine up to $500 for each day the violation continues to exist.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you for all that good work.
Yes.
Now, on to 4.4 on our agenda, case 92-25. Find respondents Catherine Bazzelli, Patricia Croft, and Philip Lamont at 30 Island Drive in violation of code for address numbers, and issue an order with the compliance deadline and fine if compliance is not met. Is there anyone here to speak on that case? No? Inspector Kasman, you have the floor.
All right, good afternoon, Board. Daniel Kasman, Code Enforcement Inspector for the City of Clearwater. This is case number 92-25 for 30 Island Drive. There were 2 violations here for Code Section 3-1502D1 for roof maintenance and Code Section 28.82.1 for address needed. These are the dates the notice of violation was sent out with the compliance date. They have to post the property. I have not heard anything from the owners. They have not tried to get in contact with me on this property. So this was back in May. Noticed that there was a tarp on the roof at the property. Didn't see the address posted anywhere. Tried calling the numbers and utilities, tried sending letters. Nobody's getting back to me on it. There's no permits open in our system right now for any sort of repairs. On this 22nd of July, the same issue at the property. The address is on the other side, just trying to show that as well. This was the date of the posting on the 25th of July. And then after that compliance date, they still haven't taken off the tarp. Again, still no action. And then this was this morning. The posting's still there along with the tarp, and they still haven't put the address on the property. So compliance met for the roof maintenance by removal of tarp from roof of home and repair any damage to the roof. And compliance met for the address numbers by displaying the address of the home on the building itself. I'm requesting compliance on or before October 24th, 2025, or a fine of $150 per day per violation for each day the violations continue to exist.
And no one's at the property or anything?
I've never seen anybody there, but the utilities are still on.
Yeah, the lawn
Everything's
looks like
up to
it's being
date.
taken care of.
Otherwise, I don't see it for sale, so I'm not sure what the issue is.
Lawn looks like really nice. I mean, they're keeping everything, somebody's keeping it, you know.
Yeah.
So, board, do you have any questions?
I do. In my approximate 3 years here, I've never seen a violation for lack of address numbers, and I'm just curious about what brings it into play, because in my profession, I see a lot of places without address numbers, and I'm just curious as to what brings that into play as a violation.
It's one of our more minor codes. It might not be something I go specifically after a property for on its own, but if there's a greater violation, like in this case, there's a tarp on the roof, there's obviously damage from the storms. If I happen to see that there's no address on the property, I put it in as a violation as well, because it's important to have the address of the home displayed on the home itself, because if there was ever an emergency or the police, fire had to get to the property, sometimes it's hard at night to see a small address on a mailbox or something painted on the curb, which are both not sufficient. It has to actually be displayed on the building itself.
Right, yeah. I'm understood, and I appreciate that. I'm aware of the need and the reasons for it, but I was just curious as to why and when that comes into play. Thank you.
Just to add one thing, you can't close your permit without
Say again?
it. You can't close your permit if you have an active permit without your house,
Interesting.
as far as I know.
Any more questions for Inspector Casman? Can I get a
First motion.
first motion? Yeah.
I move to find the respondent in violation of the code as referred to in the affidavit in this case.
And second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion approved. Have a second?
I move to enter an order requiring the respondent to correct the violations on or before October 25th, 2025. If the respondent does not comply by that date, the board may order a fine of $150 per day per violation for each day each violation continues to exist. If fines and fees remain unpaid 3 months after such lien is filed, the city is authorized to foreclose, collect, or settle such lien.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Second motion carries.
Thank you.
All right. Next on our agenda is 4.5, case 93-25. Find respondents Juan Ariel Silva at 904 Vine Avenue in violation of code for residential rental business tax receipt and exterior surfaces, and issue an order with compliance deadline and fine if compliance is not met. Is there anyone here to speak on that case? No? Inspector Dixon, you have the floor.
Good afternoon, Board. Inspector Gregory Dixon, Code Compliance Inspector for the City of Clearwater. This is case 93-25 for 904 Vine Avenue. There are 2 violations at this property, one for exterior surfaces and one for a lack of a residential rental business tax receipt. Notice violation went out in April with compliance date in June. I did receive the green card back. Here's the house. There's just some rotten wood around the front of the house, some faded peeling paint. It's still in that condition today. I hadn't spoken to the owners, but the 2 gentlemen that were here was the owner and his son, and I explained what has to happen. They think they can have it done by my compliance date. Here's a screenshot of our reporting system. There were 2 VTRs, but they're both out of business, so they lack a business tax receipt for the rental. Compliance we met for the exterior surface by replacing any defective structural or decorative elements of any building or wall and ensure all exterior surfaces are free of mildew, rust, loose material, faded, peeling paint. Compliance we met for the BTR by obtaining a residential rental business tax receipt for the property. For the 2 violations, I'm requesting compliance on November 1st. For exterior surfaces, a fine of $150 per day. For the BTR, a fine of $50 per day.
Okay. Board, do you have any questions for Inspector Dixon? No questions? All right, can I get a first motion?
I move to find the respondent in violation of the code as referred to in the affidavit in this case.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? First motion carries.
Nicole, do we do the second as 2 since they're 2 different amounts? Okay. I move to order, and to enter an order requiring the respondents to correct the violations on or before November 1st, 2025. If the respondent does not comply with the date, the order a fine of $150 per day for each violation. Each violation continues to exist. If fines and fees remain unpaid 3 months after such lien was filed, the city is authorized to collect or settle such lien.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Second motion carries.
And then we'll do the 50.
Yep.
I move to enter order requiring the respondent to correct the violations on or before November 1st, 2025. If the respondent does not comply by that date, the board may order a fine of $50 per day per violation. For each day each violation continuing to exist, if fines and fees remain unpaid 3 months after such lien is filed, the city is authorized to foreclose, collect, or settle such lien.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Second motion carries. All right, next case, 4.6 has been withdrawn. 4.7 is continued to November 19th, 2025. 4.8 on our agenda, case 96-25. Find respondents Baum Holdings LLC at 234 Palm Island Southwest in repeat violation for short-term rental, and issue an order that a daily fine be imposed for each day the repeat violation exists. Is anyone here to speak on that property? Would you come forward, please? Hi. Can you state your name and address for the record, please?
Yeah, my name is Nabot Ben David.
Shanit Ben David.
Your address?
I'm sorry, I need your names again. I didn't
It's
hear you.
Navot, my first name.
One more time.
Navot, Navot,
Got it. And your last name?
Ben David, Bendavid.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do you guys admit or deny the violation?
We admit the violation,
You admit the
but
violation.
it was a mistake. We were out of the country, and the violation was fixed the next day when we came back. We were not advertising for a week.
Hold on, I'm gonna stop.
Let
right
me
there.
explain
No,
before.
no, just hold on. All I need you to do right now is you've admitted to the violation. I'm gonna have you have a seat. We're gonna hear from the city, and we're gonna bring you back up after
That
this
is
hearing.
not
Okay?
the fuck.
That's, yeah, just go right over here and have a seat in the front row, and we'll bring you right back up. We'll hear from the city first. Thank you. Ms. Green, you have the floor? Or wait, can I have a first motion, please?
I move to find the respondent in violation of the code as referred to in the affidavit in this case.
Second, yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? First motion carries. Ms. Green, now you have the floor.
All right, good afternoon, Board. Sarah Green, Code Compliance Supervisor for the City of Clearwater. This is case number 96-25 for 234 Palm Island Southwest. There's one violation here for an illegal short-term rental. Notice violation was sent and posted on August 7th, and the certified mail receipt was received back signed on August 18th. This is a repeat violation. We got a declaration of violation for a short-term rental at the June Code Board. So I received a complaint from the neighbor. When I checked their VRBO on August 7th, it was set to a 4-night minimum. As you can see there, when you click on the 1st, you could click the 5th as your checkout date. When you go into it, you can see here in the highlighted portion, it shows that I could rent it for 4 nights minimum. So that would be against our short-term rental for advertising for rent for less than 31 days or 1 calendar month. The day after the posting went back, it was switched back to a 31-night minimum. So for case 96-25, we're requesting a one-time fine of $500 for the date observed on August 7th.
All right. You can come back up there.
So August 7, we've been out of state. We've been in Peru. My lady at the office, the house wasn't advertising for 4 days. It was open only for 30 days. My employee got a text by VRBO and asking if it's available for 1 week. She didn't know that we have an issue and it's not rent, and I can show you everything, that we're not allowed to rent for 4 days or for a week. So she sent them text back and she said, yes, we can do it. And she changed the list. I came back on Monday and I have the flight ticket. We've been in a flight and everything. I came back on Monday and I answered this guy and I said, listen, this is a mistake. The property is only for 1 month and I'm sorry. And we canceled, like we even didn't go all the way through with the reservation. So I don't know what, and at the same day, after that, she sent me an email that it's open for violation. I said, what, the house is not published for a short rental, it's only for 1 month. Not only that, I can show you that I have booked, the house is booked only for 1 month. All the inquiries, it's only for 1 month. This nice, lovely neighbor just kept looking for me. And obviously, it looked like that he's sending the emails that I didn't know, and I'm just realizing that now. So.
And we can show you the fact that we were out of the country and that we replied the minute we noticed the mistake was done.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's
Can I bring it on?
you can set it right down there onto the thing, so you can see it on the screen.
Oh, you can see it.
Yeah, they'll bring it up. Oh, turn it
Oh,
upside,
I see.
turn it on.
Okay, you can see the text that they sent in August 7, that it's asking actually if he can rent it only for 1 week because he wasn't able to book. It was open only for 1 month. And she said, so is this house available for monthly rental in December? I'm looking for a weekly stay. And she answered, yes, you can rent it weekly. I'm just updating my reservation right now. It will be available in a minute. She changed it from monthly to daily or whatever.
Yeah.
I came back in August 8 and I replied to him and I said it was a mistake. As you can see here, we've been on a flight on October 7 from Peru. This is from Panama, August 7, but we left from Peru, from Lima. Where is the Lima? Here. Lima, 2:35 a.m., and we arrived to Tampa only 1:27 p.m. on the.
So it showed that we don't really, rent it per weekly. It's only monthly, and it was a one-time mistake.
Yeah.
So yes, it was advertising, but she changed it, and I take fully responsibility because obviously this is my employee and it was her mistake. But I'm not renting the house for short term. All my booking it's for, and I honestly, maybe it's once or twice was rented. Most of the time it's me and my kids and my family from Israel is there. So this is all the booking for 1 month and stuff like that. If you want to see, you're welcome to see all the inquiries.
If this is a repeat violation, what happened last time that this is happening again? Why is it happening
Again, this is not
twice?
our main business, so the employees was handling that. We really didn't think it's an issue. So we didn't pay attention for that. When she emailed me, I said, okay, we went to the office, we have a business.
Took it out.
And we took it out, and when I realized, okay, there is something wrong, nobody touching the listing anymore. And it's only me, so from now on, I'm responsible for everything that happened here. And since then, nothing happened, and it's all on the inquiries even for 1 month. And I'm really picky with who I'm putting in my house, if I'm putting someone in my house, because obviously we want to move there eventually in 1 year, 1 or 2 years. I'm waiting that my son gonna finish high school. So it's not that we bought this out for rental property or make money, because we're not making money from the house.
It's really most of the year. I mean,
So-
we're using it as a vacation as much as we can, but.
Board, do you have any other questions for,
I have questions for Ms. Green.
Board, do you have any other questions for me?
When was the original violation?
I really don't remember.
6 months ago?
We got the
8/7.
declaration of violation in June, so it would have been months before that.
Not this repeat, but I'm talking about the original,
Yeah, the original violation was found a declaration of violation in June of this year.
June of '25.
Yeah.
This is a second one.
Right.
Repeat.
Well, and it's
It's a
so
repeat.
close in.
So close in.
That's what I was trying to figure out.
How long was the ad up?
I checked on it August 7th. We posted the property, and it was back to a monthly the next day.
Okay, so
So
it was
it was
up,
up there
the ad
less
was
than
up for a day.
20.
So, I mean, I don't know how long it was up before then, obviously, but I got a complaint, and I checked it that day.
Okay. Was it, so it wasn't actually rented as a result of this ad, it was just that the ad was up and that's not allowed?
Yeah, the 3-919 talks about renting and advertising for rent, so the ability to rent
Yeah,
for 4
we
days.
never know if they're rented.
Yeah, gotcha.
But it wasn't
It
advertised for
wasn't
a week.
advertising
No,
for
it
a week. He asked from us to rent it for a week.
No, I think-
I'm sorry, he's asking to change it for a week because it wasn't advertising for a week.
Yeah.
You can see that.
They
on-
changed it to her employee changed it so that guy so they could rent it for the week. She changed the advertisement, and then they came back the next day and realized that you can't do that. And they got back with them in her text messages that said that, hey, we can't do a week. And so it never was actually, no one ever stayed there for that. It was just to advertise.
But the advertisement's what the case is, it's not
yeah.
about staying.
Yeah, no, yeah. It's about the advertisement. So,
I have another question. On the original violation prior to this one, was there any fine assessed? What was the result
No,
of
there
that?
would have
Do
been
we
no
know?
fines, it was a declaration of violation, so they came into compliance
Yeah.
before code board.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah, before it got to the second part, they came in. Well, Board, does anybody else have any questions for Ms. Green or anything? Does anybody have any recommendations on this as far as, I think $500 is kind of steep for an advertisement.
I would agree. I mean, if they had been in violation and done it themselves and that when they knew, I mean, that would be egregious, in my opinion, okay? The fact that they were out of the country is a circumstance. The fact that somebody other than them did it is a circumstance. Question is, how does that, how should that, or should it, question is, should it and how should it affect the fine, if at all? That would be my question that I'd have to resolve in my mind.
Do you have a lower amount in mind?
$150? $50? I don't know. I'm
What's your
I'm
thoughts
open to
on this
anybody's
side?
thoughts and input on it.
Yeah. I mean, I just think that $500 is pretty steep for, less than 24 hour. Oh, it's pretty much done, changed right back, and at no fault of their own is what they've testified to, so if they did know, they perjured themselves, so.
Mr. Chair?
Oh, go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, I don't see really any true intent, and they acted in good faith this night.
I do too.
I just, even though it's the second time, I would think we could just not zero violation, but it shouldn't ever come back again for any reasons.
And I have a
Well,
question for the homeowners.
Yeah.
What happened in June? I know it was only in June, and there wasn't a fine, but what happened that time?
I can tell you what happened. We didn't put a lot of attention for it. In June, when we decided to set up it for rent, because it wasn't for rent from the beginning, we didn't, this is the only house that in VRBO, in Airbnb, all our property, in our main business, it's not rental, not short-term or long-term rental. So honestly, we didn't know, we just put it there without knowledge, with minimum, what allowed, what not allowed. And after the first thing, and obviously it was so, from June to August, it's 2 months, but it wasn't open for short term. In a minute that we know it's a big deal and it's an issue with the city,
Right.
we just took it off.
Okay.
And honestly, we don't have not the time and not the court to handle with that.
Thank you.
It's not my.
Yeah, the first time they got it right off,
Yeah.
so I would just say that, I would agree with Mr. Plum. I would just waive any fine. I mean, that's my opinion on it.
Mr. Chairman, I have a question for Ms. Green. Has the city incurred any expenses over this?
Good question.
Rebecca Mulder, Code Compliance Manager. Anytime that an officer has to expend time to post a property, make contact, that's city resources from that employee making that effort. So yes, there was expenses in the sense that an employee had to spend time to investigate and resolve a complaint that came in to us, and then investigate that, post the property, those items. So from that standpoint, yes.
Thank you.
Do we have how do we figure a cost on that, or do we just grab a number out of the air?
Mr. Chair, normally we would calculate that in a lien reduction. Normally we would do that in a lien reduction. We would calculate the time and we would provide it to you, but we have not done that. We don't have a standard flat fee for those administrative costs. I think they usually multiply it by the number of inspections and the cost of the mailings and all that stuff.
I'm wondering if the city would object to a fine of $25.
Why not 100? Why 25?
I'm picking numbers out of the air. If somebody has a
Yeah.
better
Violation,
feel for them.
violation did occur.
Okay.
I think that's really, just, from my perspective, I think that the code does say that the advertisement when we're talking about a residential zone, which we are, the advertisement in itself is what we normally prove as a violation. So it sounds like that did occur. It sounds like they took quick action. We don't really have any evidence to rebut what they say happened with the ad and everything. So I would accept all that as true, that they took action. And then, our fine amount really is, we recommend, our theory is just in terms of deterrence. We do think that this is a violation to advertise in this area of the city, and we just don't want it to keep reoccurring over and over again, and the fine does have a deterrence impact there. But obviously, it's the board's discretion to determine what that should be, and we would defer to you. I know last month we had a case where you found, of course, the difference there being, in that case, the city did have the city made a mistake as part of that initiation of that case, which we conceded to that. I don't know that the city really did anything incorrect here, but in terms of whether or not the board feels that they took action swiftly and tried to comply and all that, we completely defer to the board in making that determination. We wouldn't object to that.
Well, I've got 25 to 150.
And zero.
And zero, from 0 to 150, so we need to, I don't think that it should be 500 for a mistake that they didn't have control over, and they took care of it right immediately. But again, as a deterrent, so I'm fine with, a number we can all agree on. 50? Is everyone, do you?
That's good.
I think that's good, Mr. Farrar. You
Okay.
think that's fine?
Yeah.
That's fine. Okay, well, let's go with that then.
You want to make the motion?
You make the motion?
Go ahead.
You made the money.
Yeah, you made the, so go ahead.
You made the money, you make the motion.
You volunteered, Bob.
I move to enter an order requiring the respondent to correct the violations, or is it, is this correct?
Yeah.
Correct motion?
Repeat.
Well, for the repeat, okay.
That's why it's 500.
I move to find the respondent was in violation of the code as referred to in the affidavit in this case and has committed a repeat violation.
Can I have a second?
Second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? First motion.
It's a proper first motion now. This,
Yeah, we haven't made the first.
we did make the first motion, but not the proper one.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're done? You're good.
No, we're
Shall
not, we're
I-
not done.
Shall I continue?
Yep.
All right.
Second.
I move to enter an order that a fine of $50 per day be imposed for any days the repeat violation existed, for a total fine of $50 payable within 30 days. If fines and fees remain unpaid 3 months after such lien is filed, the city is authorized to foreclose, collect, or settle such lien. If the respondent repeats the violation, the board may order a fine of up to $500 each day the violation continues to exist.
Have a second?
I'll second it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Second motion carries.
Thank you.
Have a good day. All right, next on our agenda, 4.9 and 4.10 have been withdrawn. So we are on to old business items, accept the affidavits of compliance as listed for case, for agenda items 5.1.1, 5.1.2, 5.1.3, 5.1.4, 5.1.5, 5.1.6, 5.1.7. Can I have a,
I move to accept the affidavits of compliance as listed.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. All right, next is 5.2 on our agenda, case 69-25, accept the affidavits of noncompliance for respondents Regino Micel as Guido Martin at 809 Glen Oak Ave East for public health, safety, and welfare nuisance, a pool. Is there anybody here to speak on that? No. Inspector Maddox?
Good afternoon, Board. Kevin Maddox, Clearwater, Code Inspector. I went by today and verified that the pool is in fact green.
Green. Still green.
It's still green.
Still green.
Yeah, I have pictures if you want to see them.
No.
No, that's okay. Go ahead.
I move to accept the affidavit of noncompliance and issue an order that imposes fines and states if fines and fees remain unpaid 3 months after such lien is filed, the city is authorized to foreclose, collect, or settle such lien.
Second. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? All right, motion carries. All right, on to nuisance abatement lien filing, 7.1 on our agenda, case 133-25. Accept the nuisance abatement lien from the respondents Forrest Malman at 11 South Highland Avenue for lot clearing and issue an order with the compliance deadline and authorize the city to mitigate the violation if compliance is not met. Inspector Seuss, you have the floor.
Hi, Vicki Sudduth with City of Clearwater Code Compliance Inspector. This is for case 133-25 for 11 South Highland. There's one violation here for overgrowth, code section 3-1503B7, 3-1503B8, 3-1503B10, and 3-1503B5A. Notice of violation was posted and mailed on 8/29/25 with a compliance date of 9/8/2025. The certified mail received was not, we have not received it back. This is a picture on 8/29 of the front yard. This is a picture of the posting.
There's an address.
This was this morning, or no, I'm sorry, this was on 9/16. I did go by there this morning, and it's still just as overgrown. Compliance can be met for the lot clearing by clearing all trash, debris, and overgrowth from the property. Requesting compliance 5 days after the board renders its order.
So there's been no contact with the owners or anything?
There was, it wasn't very good. I was out in the street, and he was throwing cans at me and telling me to get away from his house, so, yeah. He's very pleasant.
Typical day in the inspector's.
Very pleasant.
The code inspector's life. Okay, board, do you have any questions?
Did you throw them back?
No, I did not.
Good,
All right.
good inspector.
Can I get a?
I move to enter order, find the respondent in violation of code and requiring the respondent to correct the violations within 5 days of the board's written order. If the respondent does not comply within the time specified, the city may take all reasonable actions, including entry onto the property, to abate and maintain the nuisance and charge the respondent with the reasonable cost which will become a lien on the property. If the costs, fines, and fees remain unpaid 3 months after such lien is filed, the city is authorized to foreclose, collect, or settle such lien.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion approved. Okay, 7.2 on our agenda, case 134-25, accept the nuisance abatement lien for respondents Catherine Boland at 204 South Corona Avenue for lot clearing and issue an order with compliance deadline and authorize the city to mitigate the violation if compliance is not met. Inspector Sudith, you have the floor.
Vicki Sudduth, City of Clearwater Code Compliance Inspector. This is for case 134-25 at 204 South Corona Avenue. There was one violation here for code section 3-1503B7 for overgrowth, 3-1503B8, 3-1503B10, and 3-1503B5A. Notice of violation was posted and mailed on 8/29/2025 with a compliance date of 9/8/2025. Certified mail has been unclaimed. This is a picture of the front of her house on 8/29 with the postings. And then again on 9/16, nothing still has been done. I went there this morning and still, it's the same exact way. Compliance can be met for the lot clearing by clearing all trash, debris, and overgrowth from the property. Requesting compliance 5 days after the board renders its order.
Any questions?
I move to enter an order finding the respondent in violation of code and requiring the respondents to correct the violations within 5 days of the board's written order. If the respondent does not comply within the time specified, the city may take all reasonable actions, including entry onto the property to abate and maintain the nuisance and charge the respondent with reasonable costs which will become a lien on the property. If costs, fines, and fees remain unpaid 3 months after such lien is filed, the city is authorized to foreclose, collect, or settle such lien.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. All right, next up is 7.3 on our agenda, case 135-25, accept the nuisance abatement lien for respondents Kathy Lambert at 2063 Plateau Road for lot clearing and issue an order with the compliance deadline and authorize the city to mitigate the violation if compliance is not met. Inspector Dixon, you have the floor.
Afternoon, Board. This is case 135-25 for 2063 Plateau Road. There's one violation at the property for lot clearing. Property is posted at the beginning of the month with a compliance date in 10 days. This is the property on the day of posting. Here's the property today. Compliance can be met by clearing all overgrowth on the property and edging the curb line, and requesting compliance in 5 days.
Any questions?
I move to enter order finding the respondent in violation of code and requiring the respondent to correct the violations within 5 days of the board's written order. If the respondent does not comply within the time specified, the city may take all reasonable actions, including entry onto the property, to abate and maintain the nuisance and charge the respondents with the reasonable cost which will become a lien on the property. If costs, fines, and fees remain unpaid 3 months after such lien is filed, the city is authorized to foreclose, collect, or settle such lien.
Second?
Second it.
All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. All right, 7.4 has been withdrawn. 7.5 on our agenda, case number 137-25, accept the nuisance abatement lien for respondent Stephen Witten at 1938 Byram Drive for lot clearing and issue an order with a compliance deadline and authorize the city to mitigate the violation if compliance is not met. Inspector Casper, you have the floor.
Good afternoon, Board. Daniel Kasman, Code Enforcement Inspector for the City of Clearwater. This is case number 137-25 for 1938 Byram Drive for nuisance abatement. There's one violation here for Code Section 3-1503 B7 and B8 for lot clearing. These are the dates the notice of violation was sent out, along with the compliance date. Here's the posting from the 3rd. This is the property up front. Came as a complaint from a neighbor. And in the rear, he owns a small strip of land leading up to a lake, and it's getting very overgrown. Also, there's a little bit of overgrowth on the curb line. Went back on the 15th. The front was the same. The rear was the same. The curb hasn't been taken care of. And then today, went back, still hasn't been mowed. Curb line still not mowed, and the rear is just as lush. So compliance is meant for lot clearing by mowing the lawn and edging the curb, and requesting compliance on or before 5 days from the date the board renders its order.
You can definitely see the property line
Yeah,
on
really.
both sides. There's no doubt about that. All right, Board, do we have any questions for Inspector Casper? No. Okay.
I move to enter an order finding the respondent in violation of code and requiring the respondent to correct the violations within 5 days of the board's written order. If the respondent does not comply within the time specified, the city may take all reasonable actions, including entry onto the property, to abate and maintain the nuisance and charge the respondent with the reasonable cost which will become a lien on the property. If costs, fines, and fees remain unpaid 3 months after such lien is filed, the city is authorized to foreclose, collect, or settle such lien.
And a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next is 7.6 on our agenda, case number 138-25, accept the nuisance abatement lien for respondents Harris Vakalik at 1528 Excalibur Drive for inoperative vehicle and issue an order with a compliance deadline and authorize the city to mitigate the violation if compliance is not met. Inspector Maddox, you have the floor.
Kevin Maddox, Clearwater Code Compliance Inspector. This is for 1528 Excalibur. It's inoperable vehicles, case number 138-25, one violation, 1503 B6 for inoperable vehicles. Notice violation was posted and mailed on the 29th of August with compliance date of the 16th of September. The green card from the United States Post Office was not signed. Here you can see the front of the house with the posting. These are the 3 vehicles. All 3 of them do not have valid plates. The one that's covered doesn't have a plate at all. This one is expired on the 20th and 22nd, and then this one has no plate at all. This on the 16th of September, everything remained the same. And then on the 24th today, one vehicle was removed. But I do not expect that it was taken care of yet, but the red car is still expired and still no plate on the covered vehicle. Compliance can be met for the inoperable vehicles by ensuring all the vehicles are roadworthy, have inflated tires, and a display a current registration sticker on the license plate assigned to the vehicle. We're requesting compliance 5 days after the board renders its order.
Board, do we have any questions for Inspector Maddox?
I move to enter order finding the respondent in violation of code and requiring the respondent to correct the violations within 5 days of board's written order. If the respondent does not comply within the time specified, the city may take all reasonable actions, including entry into the property, to abate and maintain the nuisance and charge the respondent with the reasonable cost which will become a lien on the property. If costs, fines, and fees remain unpaid 3 months after such lien is filed, the The city is authorized to foreclose, collect, or settle such lien.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. All right, 7.7 on our agenda has been withdrawn, and 7.8 is case number 140-25, accept the nuisance abatement lien for respondents Jackie Couples and Elena Butterworth at 2440 Chaucer Street for inoperative vehicle initial in order with the compliance deadline, authorize the city to mitigate the violation if the compliance is not met. Mr. Maddox, you have the floor.
Kevin Maddox, Code Compliance Inspector for the City of Clearwater. Case number 140-25 for 2440 Chaucer Street. This is for an inoperable vehicle, one single vehicle under 1503B6, one violation. Posted, compliance dates listed, green card was not received. Here, you can see there's no plate on the vehicle. The posting was on the back window. This was a close-up. This is from afar on the 18th of September. And again, this was on the 18th of September using a different phone because I couldn't get the telescopic to work. Today, I went by and took pictures yet again, and there was still no plate. Compliance can be met for the inoperable vehicle by ensuring all vehicles are roadworthy, have inflated tires, and display a current registration sticker on the license plate assigned to the vehicle. Requesting compliance 5 days after the board renders its order.
Board, do we have any questions?
I move to enter an order finding the respondent in violation of code and requiring the respondent to correct the violations within 5 days of board written order. If the respondent does not comply within the time specified, the city may take all reasonable actions, including entry onto the property to abate and maintain the nuisance and charge the respondent with a reasonable cost which will become a lien on the property. If costs, fines, and fees remain unpaid 3 months after such lien is filed, the city is authorized to foreclose, collect, or settle such lien.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. All opposed? All right, motion carries. And if there is nothing else, board, we will be adjourned.
Yay.